Israel's military announced on Sunday that it would pause fighting during daytime hours to free up backlog of humanitarian aid deliveries for desperate Palestinians enduring a humanitarian crisis sparked by the war now in its ninth month. The tactical pause, which applies to about 12 kilometers of road in the Rafah area, falls far short of a complete ceasefire in the territory that was being sought by the international community, including Israel's top ally, the United States. It could help address some of the overwhelming needs of Palestinians that have surged in recent weeks with Israel's incursion into Rafah. President Xi Jinping has emphasized the importance of China-Maldives relation and reiterated his strong support for strengthening the bilateral strategic partnership as Beijing steps up its influence in the Indian Ocean. President Xi conveyed this message to his Maldivian counterpart Mohammad Moizu on his 46th birthday. The President's office said here in a statement on Saturday. Interestingly, Xi also celebrated his 71st birthday on Saturday. China's ambassador to Maldives, Won, paid a courtesy call on President Moizu, known for his pro-China leanings, at his official residence and presented a congratulatory letter from President Xi to his Maldivian counterpart on the occasion of his birthday, the statement said. 80 countries called Sunday for the territorial integrity of Ukraine to be the basis for any peace agreement to end Russia's two-year war, though some key developing nations at Swiss conference did not join in, and the way forward for diplomacy remains unclear. The joint committee kept a two-day conference at the resort in Switzerland that was marked by the absence of Russia, which was not invited. Many attendees expressed hope that Russia might join in on a roadmap to peace sometime in the future. About 100 delegations, mostly Western countries but also some key developing nations, were on the hand for the conference that billed as first step towards peace at a time when the warring countries are seemingly as far apart as ever. Participants India, Saudi Arabia, South Africa and the United Arab Emirates were among those that did not sign on to final document, which focused on issues of nuclear safety, food security and the exchange of prisoners. Brazil, an observer, did not sign on but Turkey, which has sought to be an intermediary between Russia and Ukraine, did. The final document said the UN Charter and respect for territorial integrity and sovereignty can and will serve as a basis as achieving a comprehensive, just and lasting peace in Ukraine. But in line with the conference's more modest states aims, it omitted tougher issues of what a post-war settlement for Ukraine might look like, whether Ukraine could not join the NATO alliance, or how troop withdrawals from both sides might work. For years, a common sight in Parliament complex was that of MPs protesting or gathering in front of the Mahatma Gandhi statue near the main entrance to the building. It won't be the same when the 18th Lok Sabha convenes for the first time on June 24. The statue has been relocated along with 14 other statues that dotted the complex and installed in one area named Prerna Sthal, which was inaugurated by Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar Sunday. While Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said the decision was taken by the Lok Sabha as the government has no interference in its running, the opposition hit out at the ruling BJP for moving the statues from the prominent locations near the main entrance to Parliament office. The statues have now been installed on the stretch near the old Parliament building, renamed Samvidhan Sadan last year, till the back of the library building. The statue of Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar have been installed near gate number 7 of Samvidhan Sadan, facing the old building. Over the years, both opposition and ruling party MLAs held dharnas, addressed the media and met in front of the Gandhi statue facing Parliament House. While the construction of the new Parliament building was on, the Gandhi statue was relocated to a green patch outside the new building in 21. Congress Communications in charge and Rajya Sabha MP Jairam Ramesh said in a post on X today a major reconfiguration occurred. When the United States unexpectedly advanced into the Super 8 stage of the T20 World Cup, Saurabh Netravalkar informed his manager at software major Oracle that he won't be returning to work for another week. As vital as he is to Oracle, where he handles databases of companies and even holds a patent for a search innovation, Netravalkar is indispensable of Team USA as it co-hosts its major international cricket tournament. The Mumbai-born left-arm seamer has been one of the standout players in the USA lineup that go to the better of Pakistan with him bowling the decisive super over and gave India a run for their money with the wickets of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma to secure at least 3 more games against the allied sides in the Caribbean. After we qualified, I informed my office that I will be on leave for some more time. Now my whole office is watching the game. They all have been very supportive, Netravalkar said. The technology that Netravalkar worked on is called wildcard searching. It gets faster search results by auto-guessing or auto-completing the text before the first letters or words are typed. We store data of companies and ensure search engines work fast, says Netravalkar, adding that he has since applied for another patent. Luckily, there has not been any SOS while I am playing, as there have been 1 or 2 other instances in the past when I got a call. Otherwise, we have a team that manages everything and it's World Cup time, so no one has bothered me. They all know what I am up to. As he enjoys his few newfound popularity for his exploits on the cricket field, a typical programmer, he cites numbers. Instagram follows us up to 200%, memes increased by 80%. There also admiration for how he has balanced the two phases of his life and excelled at both. Every project has a deadline, so there is a pressure. There have been instances when I have worked at night. I know my cricket schedule, so I can play accordingly with my manager. I finished my work before I joined the USA for the World Cup, the techie said. It's a far cry from his early days when his cricketing talent and potential earned him a spot in the Under-19 India for 2010 Age Group World Cup. He remembers how his mother or father would accompany him on a crowded Mumbai local to Churchgate to play in tournaments. Brilliant at studies as well as cricket, Netravalkar has asked his parents to give him a couple of years to make a mark in elite cricket, failing which he would focus on his other skills. When he could not make it to the Mumbai Ranji Trophy squad due to the presence of likes of Zaheer Khan, Ajit Agarkar, Avishkar Salvi and Dhaval Kulkarni, Netravalkar realized he had to move on. But even that was not easy. After the Under-19 World Cup, I offered a job at BPCL where they asked me to undergo various tests. One of them was for the eyes, where they show various colors on a screen and we need to identify them. They later told me that I had color blindness, he says. Netravalkar then decided to pursue his masters in the US after getting a scholarship in 2016. Strengthening the anti-infiltration grid, generating better intelligence, increasing boots on the ground and stepping up patrolling are ways in which the recent spurt in violence in the Jammu region is expected to be tackled, sources have told. These measures were on the table of the over 5-hour-long meeting chaired Sunday by Union Home Minister Amit Shah at North Block to review the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir and take stock of the security preparedness for Amarnath Yatra scheduled to begin June 29. Union Home Minister directed security agencies to replicate the success achieved in Kashmir Valley through Area Domination Plan and Zero Terror Plan in Jammu Division. Sri Shah asserted that Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi-led government is committed to set an example by cracking down on terrorists through innovative means. Shri Amit Shah directed all security agencies to work in a mission mode and ensure quick response in a coordinated manner, the Ministry of Home Affairs said in a statement following the meeting. The two notifications, one issued by Daulat Ram College and the other by Delhi University, has triggered discontent among several teachers who claim that they go against UGC guidelines. While one notification asked faculty appointed as assistant professors at Daulat Ram to undergo rigorous training in computer-aided teaching within 6 months and submit its proof, the other issued by DU requires aspirants to the same post to make a presentation of their body of work to the interviewers in the first round, following which they will be permitted to sit for the interview round conducted by the final selection committee. The UGC chairman meanwhile said being autonomous bodies, universities were free to choose qualifications and other processes over and above the minimum standards provided in the UGC regulations with the approval of the statutory bodies. In a notification last week, Daulat Ram College said all the faculty appointed as assistant professor at pay level 10 have been directed to undergo rigorous training in teaching computer-aided teaching methodology, including digital technology useful for classroom teaching. The proof must be submitted to the principal office for their cases to be considered for confirmation. In an email to Vice Chancellor Yogesh Singh on June 15, teacher members of the Academic Council executive members along with Delhi University Teacher Association members wrote, directly linking teacher training programs and confirmation is a clear-cut violation of university ordinance. College principal Savita Roy told, "It is self-explanatory. It was decided by the governing body. My teachers are already meeting this criterion, so why the hue and cry?" Officials at the DU administration stated that this was not a university-wide directive. Said an official, "If a policy is being implemented, it should be done so in consultation with the university administration, and it must be the same for all colleges." Earlier, DU on June 3 issued a standard operating procedure for recruitment of assistant professors, a process for which now includes a separate round for assessment through presentation assessment committee. NCERT Director D.P. Saklani Sunday justified the omissions of the Gujarat riots and the violence after the Babri Masjid demolition from the NCERT Class 12 Political Science textbook, telling that an expert committee felt that mentioning a few selectively is not good. Separately in an interview to news agency, he said, "Why should we teach about riots in school textbook? We want to create positive citizens, not violent and depressed individuals." Saklani told that the revisions in the Ayodhya section were based on feedback from experts and were carried out to accommodate the Supreme Court's 19 judgment on the dispute. The Ayodhya section has been pruned to form 4 to 2 pages in Chapter 8 of the Class 12 book titled Politics in India Since Independence. As first reported on Sunday, the revised textbook, which hit the market last week, does not mention the Babri Masjid by name, calling it a three-dome structure, and has deleted telling details from the earlier version, including the BJP Rath Yatra from Somnath in Gujarat to Ayodhya, the role of Kar Sevaks, communal violence in the wake of demolition of the Babri Masjid on December 6, 1992, President's rule in BJP ruled states, and the BJP's expression of regret over the happening at Ayodhya. On the omission of content on communal violence in the aftermath of Babri Masjid demolition and the 2002 Gujarat riots, Saklani said, "There have been many communal riots in our country. The expert committee felt that mentioning a few selectively is not good and that history was taught in schools to give out facts and not to make it a battleground." He said the revision of school textbook with latest developments is a global practice. Since the Supreme Court has pronounced its judgment on the Ayodhya issue, the experts felt that this should be added, he said. Asking why other details on events leading up to the Babri Masjid demolition and its aftermath were left out, he said that could have been left out to make space for the new content that had to be introduced. This is fourth round of revisions of NCERT textbook since 2014. Meanwhile, the revised NCERT Class 11 Political Science textbook associates vote bank politics in India with minority appeasement, saying political parties disregard the principles of equality of all citizens and give priority to a minority group. The 23-24 version of the textbook did not include minority appeasement. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat's recent speech to senior trainees of the Sangh in Nagpur was viewed as a rebuke to BJP, a conciliatory gesture to the opposition and wise was for the entire political class. The RSS Sar Sangh Chalak, as widely reported, said some other things that a true Sevak does not have arrogance, that decorum was not maintained during the Lok Sabha poll campaign, that the country needs to be run by a consensus, that the opposition was not Virodhi but Pratipaksh, and that the situation in Manipur required urgent attention. Bhagwat did not stop with this speech. On Saturday, he held two class doors meeting with UP CM Yogi Adityanath in Gorakhpur. It was the Sangh's backing that had turned the tables in Yogi's favor in 17 and helped him get in the top job. Bhagwat's meeting with Adityanath at this juncture signals the Sangh's support to the CM, who it was said during the campaign could be moved out of UP after the elections. But why did the RSS chief speak out? Was it meant to be a wake-up call for the BJP leadership? And if it was not, does the RSS have into act if its chief's word are not heeded? For all his reported unhappiness in the last few years about some of the goings on in the BJP, the RSS chief did not speak out against in the party or the government in the fashion. Bhagwat pulled out stops in 13-14 to make Modi the Prime Minister. In his first year as PM, Modi took his entire cabinet to meet RSS leaders. Unlike his predecessors such as K.S. Sudarshan, who publicly told Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Lal Krishna Advani make a way for younger leaders, Bhagwat is also known to speak in a nuanced fashion, but his words this time they want you to think they care. As North India suffers a debilitating heatwave, the apps have made the lives of the better off so much easier. Implore customers to offer delivery boys a glass of water. For men and women chasing targets, rushing from home to home so that we do not have to step out of our air-conditioned cocoons, it is a fair ask. But what are the Blinkits, Zomatos, Zeptos and Swiggies of the world doing for their partners? In Delhi, at least 6 of these partners confirmed that they do not get hazard pay, nor any help from the companies that use their labor as the basis of their much touted innovation, but then our homegrown startups are just learning from the best in the world. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon and now bodybuilder and space taxi provider for his rich pals, is worth nearly $200 billion. A worker at Amazon's warehouse often earns less than rupees 11,000 per month. At that way, several workers at its 5 warehouses in Manesar, Haryana have been made to take an oath that they will not drink water or use the toilet unless they meet their daily targets. A demand that is practically impossible if labor laws around workday lengths and timings are followed. Amazon, of course, is notorious for its inhuman treatment of labor, including in the US, but it at least has employees other just as partners. A combination of guaranteed deliveries, quick sorting and sourcing, and the abundance of a vast army of labor to carry out the task underpins India's delivery-led innovation. Delivery partners are not employees. They have no job security, no recourse when mistreated, and no benefits. This partnership model has been used for the greatest effect by Uber. Globally, it undercuts labor cost while forcing partners to work longer hours, driven not by loss but by the sunk cost of purchasing vehicles and other investment made to become gig workers. What allows companies to keep worker casual, celebrating their partners of PR purposes while ignoring protests demanding basic rights? What makes it so easy for them to push people to the indignity of oaths that are dehumanizing? In his book What Went Wrong with Capitalism, investor Ruchir Sharma works at America and finds in essence that the consolidation of a few companies and socialization of losses and inequality between companies and within society is a major culprit. Then there is the fact that many of the plutocrats of today are no Henry Ford like Bezos and Dipender Goyal. Ford too took existing technologies and innovated on the process, and while neither Bezos nor Goyal invented GPS or basic programming languages, they did create sourcing and delivery infrastructure. Ford, however, insisted that a worker in his factory be paid enough to afford the product they are manufacturing. Can the same be said today? At rupees 11 to 13,000 per month, there are likely few Amazon projects being delivered to those who have taken the oath. Such a wide gap between the purchasing power of the producer and the consumer does not bode well in the long term, politically, socially, and even economically. Third, India has an abundance of cheap labor. The desperation of any employment means that people will flock to whatever work is available, and that's crucial difference. Gig workers may have work, they do not have jobs. One argument popular among economists of certain stripe is that some work is better than none. Issues of decency and dignity will be addressed with growth as the pie gets bigger, wealthy will trickle down, and the market will fix all. This ignores the role of the state and perhaps even society. Since the fight for the 8-hour workday in the late 19th century, it has been the norm that certain laws are put in place to ensure a lack of exploitation. That's why dignity and equality find place in the constitution as fundamental rights. Finally, the apathy, the Amazon oath story will come and go. Bezos will continue to joyride in orbit, and people like us, unaware perhaps that our white-collar jobs could become a gig at a whim, will make all the right noises at a party. Then perhaps you will crave an ice cream or chilled coconut water delivered in 10 minutes. Don't forget to offer water. Soon after taking charge, Andhra Pradesh new Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu announced a flurry of decisions such as increase in pensions and revoking the Land Tilting Act. Possibly the most noteworthy decision, however, has been the order for a skill census. On the campaign trail, Naidu had said that through a skill census, he would gauge the skill levels of people and compare it to the global skill requirements. This will help us address the skill shortcomings and make people more employable. Thus, it will automatically lead to welfare, he said. There are many reasons why Naidu's call for a skill census should be welcomed. For one, it brings the state of unemployment in Andhra Pradesh in sharp focus. While it is well known that India has been facing considerable unemployment-related stress, most of the attention is centered around the so-called Bimaru states such as UP, Bihar, but data from the official period labor force survey of 2023, the last full year report, shows that Andhra Pradesh is worse off than many such states. For instance, at 4.1%, Andhra Pradesh has a significantly higher unemployment rate than not just the national average. Youth unemployment rate in Andhra was 15.7%, much higher than the national average of 10%, as well as the states like Bihar, UP, MP and Rajasthan. Further data suggests that getting higher education does not seem to help matters. At 24%, the unemployment rate among graduates in Andhra Pradesh was higher than Bihar, UP, MP and Rajasthan. However, the unemployment crisis in India is not just about unemployment. It is about a crisis of unemployability, and this is not a secret. The 2015 policy of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship said our country presently faces a dual challenge of paucity and highly trained workforce, as well as non-employability of large sections of the conventionally educated youth who possesses little or no skill jobs. The skill census is a step toward addressing what a 2018 NCAER report calls India's skills paradox: dwindling opportunities in agriculture, much potential for jobs in manufacturing and services, but not enough people with the right skills. It will have important takeaways for course correction in the education system as well. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will hold pre-budget consultation with industry chambers together on June 20, sources said. In the first leg of the interactions with stakeholders, the minister will hold consultation with representatives of various sectors of the economy from June 19 to 25, sources said. Separately, Industry Body Confederation of Indian Industry will meet Revenue Secretary Sanjay Malhotra on June 18 to submit a set of proposals for consideration in the budget next month. The full budget of 24-25 is likely to be presented in the third week of July. Industry chambers may suggest that the government continue the public capex momentum and step up in the privatization of public enterprises. Besides revamping and extending some of the schemes further, the budget will likely give a direction for the next 5 years to align policy actions to make India a Viksit nation by 2047. Sitharaman began her second stint as the country's Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister June 12 by promising further steps to ensure ease of living and continuation of reforms to provide macroeconomic stability and economic growth. She also said the reforms undertaken since 2014 will continue, which will further provide macroeconomic stability and growth for India. According to PTI report, the key policy priorities for the government would include dealing with stress in the agriculture sector, job creation, sustaining capex momentum and pushing revenue growth to stay on the fiscal consolidation path. Rating agency S&P has already given a thumbs up to economic policies followed by the Narendra Modi-led regime in the past 10 years by upgrading the sovereign rating outlook to positive. It also hinted at a possible rating upgrade in the next 1 to 2 years provided by the government sticks to its fiscal deficit roadmap. SBI Chairman Dinesh Kumar Khara has said this lender would wait for its subsidiaries like SBI General Insurance and SBI Payment to scale up their operations before monetizing them. Online food delivery platform Zomato has said that it is in talks with Paytm to acquire the financial technology company's movies and events business. In a regulatory filing, Zomato said while it is discussions with Paytm, no binding decision has been taken yet. We acknowledge that we are in discussions with Paytm for the aforementioned transaction. However, no binding decisions have been taken at this stage that would warrant a board approval and subsequent disclosure in accordance in applicable law, Zomato said. Hyderabad-based Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services had developed a new product to predict the emergence of El Nino and La Nino conditions. There are different phases of El Nino southern oscillations up to 15 months in advance. The product is known as the Bayesian convolutional neural network. What is ENSO? ENSO is a climate phenomenon which involves changes in the temperature of water in the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean coupled with fluctuations in the overlying atmosphere. It can alter the global atmospheric circulation, which in turn influences weather across the world. ENSO occurs in irregular cycles of 2 to 7 years and have 3 different phases: warm, El Nino, cool, La Nino and neutral. In the neutral phase, the eastern side of the Pacific Ocean is cooler than the western side. This is due to the prevailing wind system that move from east to west, sweeping the warmer surface waters towards the Indonesian coast. The relatively cooler water from below come up to replace the displaced water. In the El Nino phase, however, wind system weaken, leading to lesser displacement of warmer waters. As a result, the eastern side of the Pacific becomes warmer than usual. In the La Nino phase, the opposite happens. The new product uses the latest technology such as artificial intelligence, deep learning and machine learning to improve forecasts related to the ENSO phases. The model prediction relies on the fact that El Nino or La Nino are connected to the slow oceanic variations on their atmospheric coupling, which gives sufficient lead time to issue early forecast. It calculates the Nino 3.4 index value using to determine the different phases of ENSO phases and makes the forecast. There are largely 2 kinds of weather models used for forecasting. One is the statistical model, which generates forecasts based on various information set received from different countries and regions. The other is a dynamic model, which involves a 3D mathematical simulation of the atmosphere done using high performance computers. The BCNN, however, is a combination of the dynamic model with AI. This helps in forecast the emergence of El Nino and La Nino conditions with a 15-month lead time, unlike other models which can give a prediction up to 6 to 9 months in advance. Typically, researchers need historical weather data spanning several decades and even centuries to feed into models to generate forecasts. While rich data are available for land, there is a scarcity when it comes to seas and oceans. This gap has hampered the weather and climate prediction accuracy. The INCOIS addressed the issue by taking data from historical runs from the coupled model intercomparison project phases 5 and 6, thus augmenting the training data set. CMIP is an experimental framework which allows climate modelers to simulate various scenarios to test the past climate and project the future climate situations. The center has approved the Uttarakhand government's proposal to rename Joshimath Tehsil in Chamore district Jyotiramat and Kosia Kutoli Tehsil in Nainital district as Pragna Shri Kanchi Dham, according to an official statement last week. The development has come after Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami announced the renaming of the two tehsils last year. The decision is in the line with the BJP's policy of going back to the older name of cities as part of its focus on cultural revival and linking into the nationalism. Australia beats Scotland as England breathe a sigh of relief. Tactics and mind games continue to swirl around the Australian dressing room. 4 days ago, pacer Josh Hazlewood cheekily hinted at knocking defending champions England out of the T20 World Cup by taking a slightly casual approach in their final Group B clash against Scotland, who were also vying for the Super 8 berth. We have had some real struggles against them in T20, so if we can get them out in the tournament, that's in our best interest as well as probably everyone else. Hazlewood has remarked after Australia crushed Namibia to seal their progress, leaving England and Scotland to fight for the remaining spot. Hazlewood's comment struck a nerve, prompting the English media to raise the potential ramifications if Australia were to slip up against an associate nation for the first time since the '83 World Cup. Teammate Pat Cummins stepped up to clear the air ahead of the final group stage hit in the St. Lucia, suggesting net run rate quicks would not prompt a change of approach against Scotland, but it did for a while. A determined Scottish side fought toe-to-toe with Australia with qualifications for the Super 8s on the line. Top that with 6 dropped catches and Mitchell Marsh men's offered enough fodder for creative minds.